Hello friends, Buddy here at Haas of Props. A few months ago I made Agamemnon's helmet out of EVA foam when the trailer dropped for the Odyssey. Since then I've received many thanks and compliments as well as requests for Odysseus' helmet. Well everyone, your comments haven't gone unnoticed, and this past week I created and built that helmet which we get to see Matt Damon wear in the film. Construction is actually really easy, so let's head to the shop and I'll show you how you can make your very own Odysseus helmet from Christopher Nolan's interpretation of Homer's The Odyssey. Let me start by saying, as always, there is a link to the template in the below description if you want to build along with me. To begin with, I cut two pieces of part A out of 6mm foam, and we want to close up these darts because that's what will give the curve to the foam and give us the dome shape. I always like to use contact cement when working with foam when I can, so I'm applying an even layer to both edges of the dart. Now the glue has to dry slightly and become tacky or the bond won't be secure, and instead of waiting for it to air dry, I like to use a heat gun to speed up the process, and I dry the glue just to the point where it loses its wet shine. Then the edges can be pressed together, and I'm trying to make sure the outer surface is always aligned as flush as possible because this means less cleanup later on. Then the same can be repeated to the other darts as well. Once all the darts are closed, the two A pieces can be attached to each other, and the process is exactly the same as closing up the darts. But for the dome like this, I like to align the front and attach about an inch or two, and do the same for the back. Then align the middle and work my way either direction. This just helps keep the pieces aligned and centered so nothing shifts as I'm going. And this seam will be covered, so I'm trying to keep it nice, but I'm not overly concerned about its beauty. Part B is cut out and glue is applied to its edge as well as the bottom edge of the A unit. The center of B is aligned to the center seam of the dome and wraps around to the back. At this point, I took my Dremel with a sanding drum and proceeded to slightly bevel the edges of the helmet. This will make the foam look thinner and more like metal when we're finished. And now that I'm thinking about it, this step could have actually been done before B got attached, but as you can see, it is still working. Now the back of part B needs to curve out slightly, and to do that I heat the foam with a heat gun, not enough to scorch it, but enough to make it really warm. Then the foam can be bent and held in place until it cools. At which point it'll hold its shape and keep the nice little flip. Okay, so I thought I was recording the next step, but when I hit the button it didn't turn on. But anyway, two part C's get glued onto the helmet. The point is in the center on part B. The bottom edge of the side piece is right in line with the seam between A and B, and the part that wraps over the top is aligned with the center seam and touches the other end of part C. Now I've purposefully made these a little long, so you may need to trim away some excess with scissors. To start on the crest, two part D's are cut out and the 3/8 inch wide strip gets glued to the side of a part D along the smaller curve so that the pieces create a right angle. While I attach that, I would really appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's completely free to you and will help my channel grow. Plus, if you click the notification bell, you can customize your notifications so you never miss a project. Thank you. The strip is trimmed and the excess is used to attach to the front and the back of part D like so. Then the second part D can be attached to create the other side of the crest, so you end up having the two D pieces with the 3/8 inch strip sandwiched in between. This crest unit can now be attached to the helmet. The back edge of the crest lines up to the bottom edge of the 2mm part C pieces and is centered on the center line of the dome. Now when adding a crest like this, you want to press the helmet against the crest from the inside of the helmet. This ensures that the helmet forms the correct bend and is less likely to distort the shape of the crest. To start adding the accent pieces, I cut 1/4 inch wide strips of 2mm foam. These wrap around the base of the crest just like this and go the whole way around. You can attach small strips like this with contact cement, but it can become a hassle, so I like to use CA glue. It works perfect for small pieces like this. Up next are 1/8 inch wide strips, and these wrap around the base of the crest on top of the 1/4 inch strip we just added, the edges of part C, and around the entire edge of part B. And there is also a strip on the crest about 1/4 inch down from the top. Once all attached with the CA glue, the helmet is looking like this. Now, the strip along the bottom edge of B has a small groove in it, and to get that effect, I'm using an X-Acto knife to lightly score a line along its center. I'm not cutting all the way through, just lightly scoring, and later this will open up and create the groove. Next, I switch out the tip on my Dremel for the sanding stone, and I'm going to use this to slightly round over all the edges. I like this tip for this effect because it is sanding, but it is very subtle, and by rounding over the edges, it makes the final result look more natural and less like it was cut by a knife. The same tip can also be used to clean up the seams on the dome. It's great for removing contact cement that's exposed. To make the top of the crest, I cut two part E's out of 6mm foam and glue them together. To create the bristle effect, I'm scoring a bunch of thin lines on both sides, and as I'm scoring, I'm trying to make sure they follow the natural direction of the fibers. Once all scored, it can be glued into place in the base of the crest, and at this point the entire helmet can be heat sealed, and you'll see what this does to all the scoring. The heat causes the foam to shrink slightly, which in turn causes the score lines to open up and give very fine, detailed grooves. And since it's shrinking the foam, it's closing up the small pores in the foam, which make it a better surface to prime and paint as well. Now that we are heat sealed, I sketch out the filigree details. Ignore the bit on part B because I started to draw on the wrong surface. We'll make the filigree in a minute, but first I'm going to use this quick seal to close up all the seams. I like to smear it on with a palette knife and then dip my finger in water to blend and smooth it even with the foam surface. This will fill up the seam and remain flexible to move with the foam. To create the filigree, I'm using a dimensional fabric paint, or it's also known as puff paint. This way I can draw directly onto my pre-drawn lines and have the three-dimensional aspect immediately and not have to do a ton of extra work to achieve that. Then I let the quick seal and the paint dry for 5 hours before continuing. Now, to create the metal texture of the helmet, I'm going to use this Spray 90 adhesive. This stuff comes out in a web-like pattern and can be sprayed randomly across the surface, except for the crest, which I've blocked with paper. I let this set for another 4 hours, and it'll still be sticky, but the next step will take care of that. Once it's basically cured, you'll notice how it's created this very dimpled metal texture, and now the helmet can be primed with Plasti-Dip. This seals the foam, creates a great surface to paint on, and is flexible so you don't have to worry about paint chipping off. I sprayed 3 coats, waited 30 minutes between each, and let it set overnight after the third. This is how it's looking the next day, and we can finally begin painting. To start, I'm using this metallic gold and I brush it on, making sure to get in around all the edges, grooves, and details. Then pounce the surface with a soft cloth. This removes the brush marks and creates some randomness in the application. I like to use gold as a base even for bronze results because it creates a vibrancy underneath and is easily toned down to create any warm metal color. While the gold dries, I base the crest with a primary red. Here I'm making sure to get the paint into the cut grooves, and I'm brushing in the direction of the lines. I'm also not worried about brush marks because any left behind will help with the bristle illusion. After the gold is dry, I repeat its application process with a metallic deep bronze. This will preserve the luminosity of the gold, but tone down the yellow, and if we were to just use it by itself, it would look dull and flat. Next on the crest is a brick red or flamenco red. This again is brushed on following the lines, but I'm not covering the entire crest. I'm starting at the base and working up about 3/4 of the way, leaving some of the original primary red showing. After the bronze is dry, I thin some black with water, brush this on, and pounce it to blend it. This will bring the bronze into the color scheme of the helmet used in the film by dulling it down and making it look aged. And even though we're dulling it down, we're still preserving some of the depth and luminosity that we achieved with the gold. On the crest is a final wash of a mixture of burgundy and black. This is concentrated toward the bottom and blends up into the bristles. And to help with the blending, I wipe and fade the paint with a cloth. This will help create a nice grading effect. After the first pass of the black wash has dried, I apply a second coat, focusing more so along the edges and grooves. This will add a grime look to the helmet and help accentuate the details. And once all that is dry, Odysseus' helmet is complete and ready to wear. When I first began this project, I was surprised how easy it was to build. There aren't a whole lot of pieces, which keeps the helmet clean, classic, and elegant. By adding the spray texture and keeping the coloring simple, it accentuates all the subtle details even more. Well everyone, that's it for this helmet. I hope everything I said made sense, and feel free to ask questions if you have any. Don't forget to check out the Agamemnon helmet as well, and in both cases the links to the templates can be found in their video descriptions if you want to make your own. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with all your friends and family, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. And remember, if you are building any of my builds or using any of my templates, feel free and tag me at Haas of Props on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because I would really like to see your fantastic work. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.